sure you got your game face on.
We're here. We're in the room. I'm ready.
And so is YouTube. So there we go. Let's see. I just want to make sure that we're actually streaming, which I think we are. So there we go.
Awesome.
All right. Well, I'll just kick things off in case I'm sure it's either morning or people are still asleep from last night's
and it's Sunday as well. Sunday afternoon.
People are brunching. But hey, everybody, you're listening to MLVC, the Madonna podcast, your place for all things Madonna. Louise Veronica Ciccone. My name is Stefan, and today we are joined by Benn Garner, who's broadcasting from London. He went and saw the show last night, and we're going to get his review of the Celebration tour opener. Welcome, Benn.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Benn, you look actually quite rested considering you were up late last night watching the Queen.
Physically, I'm rested. I'm still, my head is still up in the clouds, and I'm still transcended from my actual physical body, but no, I'm good.
Well, that's a good thing to hear. I mean, so
yeah,
your overall opinion of the show is positive then?
Very much so. I can't wait to talk about it.
Go on. Just what were your initial thoughts? Jump on it.
Well, I'm still trying to find a word to put it together to summarize it.
Where were your seats? Let's start with that.
So I was on the first tier.
Okay.
And towards the back, so I was in the back corner of the first tier, but I was at the top of that, so I could see, and I had pretty much an aerial view of the entire stage.
Nice.
But I could see her perfectly, and you could see all the moving parts work as she moved from one stage to another. So I couldn't have asked for a better view, to be honest with you. It was wonderful to see. I think that's the best place to see it from, is from a bit further up, so you can see everything.
Yeah, I think obviously it's one thing to be able to be up close with her. And so like Neil and his friend Dave, they were in that pit. So it's like the proximity to Madonna is one thing.
Yeah.
But like being able to be towards the back, like they were saying, you sort of get to see what the show is doing between where she's at, where the screens are, like all of the pieces are sort of fitting together.
Yeah. And it's in when you see it from where I was seated, you see it straight away. You see the stage as you walk in, you see how grand it is. It filled the entire arena. There wasn't space for any more stage parts, but she made it so intimate. This huge scale felt so intimate. And only she can do that. No one else could pull that off. Only she has the ability to possess that kind of magic to be able to pull that off. And she did it so splendidly for over 2 hours.
What were your thoughts about people around you? Because obviously you're a big fan, but did you get a sense of whether there were sort of like fair weather fans who had sort of maybe dropped off as a Madonna fan and not come to recent shows, and were they back, and what were their thoughts about it?
There was a mixed bag, I won't lie. There was a lot of people standing up, sitting down, standing up, sitting down. The energy in some of them felt a bit depleted when you went through some more of the more obscure tracks that we as big fans absolutely love. But if you're not on it, if you're not in that kind of following of her, then I can see what I did say to my friend. I went with my friend, and I said to him afterwards, that was not a greatest hit show. And that was not for a casual fan, really.
Interesting. Okay, so why would you think that? Like, what songs do you feel were on the set list that maybe a Fairweather fan would not resonate with?
I don't think so. She opens with Nothing Really Matters, which wasn't a huge hit, really, here. I think it was well known, but you remember that was 25 years ago.
Sure.
and it's not been on any greatest hits project that she's had since. It's only recently come out.
Other than
Finally Enough Love.
Finally Enough Love, right?
Yeah. So aside from that, it wasn't on GHV2. It wasn't on Celebration. So the exposure to that song isn't really there for the last 25 years. So I think people were a bit like, oh, I think I know this song when it started. And even, you know, a lot of I don't know if this is just in England, but people resonate Madonna with Like a Virgin,
yep,
Holiday, Material Girl,
the Immaculate
Vogue.
Collection. That's the Madonna Collection. A lot of people think. I think that's what people thought this tour was going to be. The Immaculate Collection.
So then when it goes, I'm sorry, spoiler alert. So when Nothing Really Matters, I
think everyone tuning in should know. Spoiler alert. We're spoiling everything.
Yeah. So when Nothing Really Matters segues into then Everybody, which again it's not an Immaculate Collection song,
right?
It's people are like, okay, they're dancing, they're going for it, but they're not singing along. The energy hasn't quite hyped up yet. But
I will say the thing I thought that was most brilliant about this show, just from a setlist perspective, is that Madonna managed to do a greatest hits, quote unquote, greatest hits show without any new material. And yet it still felt fresh and new. You know, there were songs that she had never performed on tour or haven't performed in ages. And she was able to sort of make it feel like, you know, there was new material when there wasn't. Because this is the first time Madonna's ever gone on tour without supporting an album that had just happened, either in the last month or two or the last year. So I was curious how she was going to be able to sort of like carry it off and make it new. And I was happy to see that she added in some deep cuts that are sort of like nods to the super fans and the fans that have been with her for years and years, but still keep it on brand for her.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She knows her audience and she knows the variation of her audience. But all in all, whilst the show is very autobiographical, it's very much her story, and very cleverly done as well. Not with like explicit explanation or narration either. You really have to know the nods and the winks to really connect the dots to it. But it's also, I felt, a big love letter to the fans, the show. Yep.
I mean, again, I was watching poor audio, like video lives on Instagram, so I didn't really get the scope of the show, and I will save my own personal review for when I see the show in person. Yeah. But the one thing I loved, I think they released that professional footage from Nothing Really Matters this morning. Guy Osiri shared it on his Instagram, and gorgeous footage, by the way, like gorgeous footage. I want the whole show. I want the whole show like that right now. Like, but I thought what was so sweet was, you know, she's singing those opening bars of Nothing Really Matters, and it sort of, you know, she beckons to the crowd, you know, like, because of you. And I thought, wow, that song has been around since Ray of Light. Never once would I have thought that was an ode to fans in any way, shape, or form. And maybe it wasn't when she wrote it, but now that's like a fan anthem.
Yeah.
And I thought how brilliant and beautiful. And thank you, Madonna.
Thank you. Hallelujah. Thank you, Madonna. Because so many, it felt like as well that she listened to us fans as well, who have been begging for this for so many years. And we, you know, the rumor mills have always been strife with, oh, Nothing Really Matters is coming this time, and it never materializes. But this time it's the first song, and it hits you straight away. There's no creeping in like the album version. Mm-hmm. It's a huge grand start, and then she's suddenly there and she's singing, and the chorus goes off. I know there was a rumor that it would be a stripped back version. It's nothing of the sort.
No, it's hands in the air. I mean, it's like Club 69, like dance all the way.
It is a huge moment and such a good way to kick the show off. And that's how we all felt as well, because I was surrounded. So I had the fair weather fans there, but we had some of the super fans in my section. You're not going to pay £300 to see her and not be a super fan if you're in your right mind. So we got it. We got it because she did because of you, and she reached out and did the sweep. But she tied that up again. She closed that loop later on when she was talking to the crowd before burning up, and she said, how did I make it this far? Because of you.
Yeah. That was a really poignant note. I wonder if she'll have, because that speech came because the sound error, right? They had to reset the thing because it sounded like it was supposed to go straight into Open Your Heart. Yeah. And so she got messed up. And I wonder, if she will have time for speeches like that, or if that will, like, we just won't hear her. We won't hear her talk again in the future.
Well, I hope not, because it was actually one of my favorite parts of the show. I said to my friend, because she was very honest, they were having technical difficulties. Okay, I'll just fill. That was the kind of attitude. When usually, like, I would have thought, oh, she's going crazy right now. Somebody's getting fired, kind of thing. Yeah. But it was good, and she was just a great fill for it. She didn't need Bob. She anchored Bob to come on, but she didn't need him.
Sure.
She had us there in the palm of her hand, and she was just talking. She told us some really funny but quite sad stories about the time when she first started in New York. And it felt like it was part of the show. So when I go see the show again, I'll miss that. I enjoyed that. So it was a special moment, really, to kind of have that.
What do you think? So there's been a lot of chit chat online since last night's first show. Do we think that the ending, which Neil and Dave had said felt very abrupt, do we think that maybe the end was cut short because of O2 policy and curfew, that maybe that delay from burning up into Open Your Heart sucked away some of the time from the ending? Like, maybe they had to cut it short because they were like, all right, we got to go. What do you think?
Yeah, 100%. And I said to my friend that the exact word, abrupt. That was such an abrupt ending. It felt like that wasn't that clip of celebration and music, or 35 seconds of it. It felt like the tail end of a finale performance. As she's saying goodbye. Mm-hmm. And she's asking people, the whole sing-along part. It felt like that tail end, because there was Bitch I Madonna finished, and it just kind of suddenly started with that. Yeah. It didn't, there was no cohesion with that. And Stuart Price's mixing throughout the rest of the show was just sublime. The mixes and how it interweaves with all of the songs together. So it fell off straight away. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of confused faces, myself included, thinking, oh, surely that was just maybe the introduction, she's going to come back on. And then the house lights came up, and we looked at the time, and it was nearly 11:10. And
it did seem a little weird. I was like, either that was like when she descended, either that was like when she would descend and then come back, like the dancers would continue doing something, and then there'd be the big hurrah finale. Mm-hmm. I mean, because maybe she was going to like strip off that crazy nun outfit that she had on at the end and come back with another finale outfit. Yeah.
The net curtain.
So I love that she did that, though. Like, it was such a loony outfit when she wore that, and yeah. I love that she brought it back. Like, out of all the stuff that she's worn in the last couple of years, that was the one thing
I know.
It was such a it's hysterical.
But it looks great.
Oh, she looks fantastic. I mean,
it's amazing.
It's amazing. But yeah, I'm curious to see like what night 2 will be like, whether or not the ending will be adjusted. Because if that was the intended ending, I think they need a little finessing on that.
Just a smidge.
Something like, I don't know what they would improve on. Like, if she wants to end on Celebration, or if there's like a completely other encore, like some other song that she would come out and do. I don't know, but I just feel like it did feel incomplete.
Yeah, very much so. It didn't feel like it had even started, let alone incomplete. I felt like it was just starting to build momentum, and she was singing a line of music, and then it just went boom.
Yeah.
That was it. She went
because
down,
she's good with that.
like
She's always been good with openings and sticking the landing.
Absolutely. She can close the circle perfectly.
Yeah. And to come out with such a powerhouse, Nothing Really Matters, and then to just sort of like have it peter out just seemed a little like, what's happening here?
There was a lot of confused faces. That was the general consensus with everyone that I spoke to and everyone in my area.
Yeah, so it'll be eyes on tonight to see what goes different.
You have no idea the lengths I've gone to stop myself from booking a ticket to go tonight.
I'm surprised you haven't. I'm sure there's got to be a ticket somewhere. Somebody's got to have a ticket.
There is. I'm keeping an eye out for Tuesday.
You just gotta pony up that money.
No, I'm keeping an eye out for Tuesday instead. I've got another event that I'll go to tonight, which I can't miss. So.
Oh, there you go. Well, so let's talk.
And now it's on the internet.
Let's talk about looks. What were your favorite looks from the show?
Oh.
Other than the crazy nun outfit.
I mean, how can you beat that one?
I mean, Nothing Really Matters, where she sort of comes out in like full goddess look. I mean, I gotta say, so Neil, our guest last night, he took fantastic photos. I reposted the one where she sort of has the wing holding out. And it wasn't until I saw his photo that I realized, oh, she's reinventing the kimono look from Nothing Really Matters. And I was like, oh God, she's so good with what she does. Like, it's so, the callbacks that she has are so smart.
And you notice, you'll see that kind of thread throughout all of the outfits that she wears as well. My personal favorite, I think, so she changed hair for the second and the third act. So she had this very short wig on, very reminiscent of Madame X Vogue.
Yes.
And so what she wore for Vogue, so she had a different suit on, but it was a different tailor to it. And when she removed the jacket of that, she had the sequined comb bras on that as well. And it was like a bodysuit kind of, and she looked stunning with the hair, the makeup. I will say, everyone around me said, she looks beautiful. Everyone said she looks fantastic. So that one was a highlight for me. I loved the chocolate leather bodice with the hat that she wore. That was such a killer.
I want those on a t-shirt.
A serve, an absolute serve. And she looked so phenomenal in it. She looked great in all of the clothes that she wore last night. And they were so elevated yet so simple as well.
Oh, I'm sure they must have cost some pretty pennies.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Everyone talking about how expensive it is to go see the show. It's like, well, you can see it on the stage. There it is.
And you can see where the money, I will say this. I mean, I wasn't able to say this for another show I've seen of hers before.
Let's not throw other pop people under the bus.
No, it's a Madonna show. So I can see where the money has gone this time. So we spoke about the staging and how it's the grandness of it. Yeah, it makes it feel so intimate. The lighting rigs,
so good.
Oh, it's the best lighting she's ever had. And it's so immersive with the rest of the set pieces, the screen projections that just drape down from the ceiling over the crowd next to the B stages. You can see it's expensive.
Yeah, well, that's why she doesn't have a band or backup singers. She can't afford them.
Of course. I did say, that's where she's put that money.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird to not see her with backup singers for the first time. I mean, were there? There must have been. Were there any like off stage, or was it all pre-recorded?
There was no one on that stage with her. I think Stuart Price was by the mixing desk.
Mm-hmm.
He would have had to have been there as the musical director. He had to be somewhere, or whether they were below stage.
Yeah, maybe something. Well, right. Because like, if you think about Madam X, she had a band, but they were just off stage, you
Yeah.
didn't see them. So I was wondering if maybe there were backup singers, but like just off stage and she just never brought them on.
Yeah, you see a lot of shows these days where the band are actually not visible on stage, or they pop in some form or another, but no visible band. But she had a big troupe of dancers,
Yeah, they
and
looked great.
they were Madonna tour caliber dancers as well. It
Yes,
just felt like she was back.
I appreciated the the swarthy shirtlessness that was going on. It's like with men, women, they, them. Like there was no everyone got their turn to be shirtless.
Yes, they did. It was, and even the dancers' costumes as well. They were a nod, like the one when she's in the negligee. I call it negligee. The boxing attire, the nightie. They're all in this pinstripe pants with encrusted chain that goes around, the Express Yourself trousers. Sure. And but they were great as well, and they complimented her so well.
Yeah. And so were there any songs that she didn't sing that you wished she had sung?
Rescue Me.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all sort of were hoping maybe, but we've theorized about this many times in the podcast. It's just like it might be too ambitious of a vocal song for her to sing every night. I mean, I've heard rumors, and again, we have to tread lightly when it comes to rumors, but maybe it'll come somewhere down the road. Like maybe there's she'll slot one song out for another at some point.
Yeah, I felt like where she did the acoustic cover of I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. And that was just her and playing the guitar. It was so very reminiscent to what she did on Rebel Heart. So yeah. It looks like there's an opportunity for interchangeable songs there.
Yeah.
Rescue Me for me, and I would love to have seen Secret again.
Yeah, there was a couple. I mean, we said it last night. I was sort of hoping for Candy Shop, but we didn't get that. Actually, was there any Sticky and Sweet music on? I don't think there was one song from Sticky and Sweet.
No, not one.
Was there Rebel Heart? I mean, we heard a little bit of Living for Love. Oh, Bitch I'm Madonna. Yeah.
Bitch I'm Madonna.
MDNA, I heard a little bit of Girl Gone Wild.
There was a bit of Give Me All Your Loving as well. So right. The intro
but no full songs from MDNA.
Nothing.
Interesting. I mean, I would have loved Girl Gone Wild in general, but I guess maybe it just didn't fit the vibe. You know how she does that. With her songs, it's like, is it telling the story? Is it progressing the narrative that she wants to put up there? And if it's not, sorry,
No.
Like that's why, like, for the people begging for some older hits, to put something like Material Girl in there, it's like, well, where would that have fit? What how would that have progressed the narrative in any way?
I don't know where it would have gone. Yeah. It's because you hear it's the same with every single Madonna show you go to. You come out and you hear people, where was Express Yourself? Where was this? And I think, where would it have gone? There was just nowhere for it to have. I cannot think of a place it would have slotted into. Now so to haphazardly slot in a classic just for the sake of putting in a classic is injustice to that classic.
Yeah.
There was no point to it.
I mean, I think, Frozen, it would have been nice to see Frozen. I mean, I think people were hoping that she might sing Power of Goodbye, but it's like, well, this isn't the Ray of Light tour,
No. I do think Frozen was missing. Out of all of the monster signature songs that didn't make the show, I felt like there was a perfect opportunity for Frozen to come after Rain, because the imagery in the back is from the Frozen video.
Yeah, I know. And it's such a great song too. I mean, she's done such great. I mean, I'll be slightly controversial. I think Neil said the same thing. It's like, I could have done without Human Nature.
Oh yeah, completely.
Put Frozen in instead of Human Nature. I mean, I didn't really need Human Nature, but no. I get it. It's an anthem for her personally. For her career, she feels very attached to the message of that song. So I totally get it. And look, it's her show. God forbid we were like, Madonna, no, you shouldn't do that.
I mean, controversially as well. I mean, as much as I love to see it live all of the time, I don't think La Isla had a place. Really. I feel that it changed the tone of that section.
Yeah.
Quite drastically.
Where did that factor in? I forget where that was factoring in.
So she went in from Don't Tell Me, after Mother and Father.
Oh, well, so I love Mother and Father, but again, that's one of those where I'm like, maybe Frozen, as you know, like a song people know, as opposed to, I mean, Mother and Father, I loved it on Reinvention and I loved the album version, but I just feel like that's one of those, no one who has, you know, like if you're just a greatest hits Madonna fan, you wouldn't know that song.
But it's the visual aid to it, how she narrates it herself with David and the visuals that come down.
See, that's what a lot of the live stream, whoever was, God bless the person holding the camera, it was like this. Like I was staring up at a ceiling half the time. So I missed a lot. I mean, it cut out. I didn't even know she sang Rain because I think it had, like, the live had cut out for about 10 minutes. So there's a lot of stuff I'm looking forward to seeing live and sort of having appreciation for, you know, seeing what she's doing with the performance will be nice. But so yeah, that's why I can't really talk properly about it because I haven't really seen it.
No, Mother and Father was one of those. She had quite a few very special moments in the show with her kids. And that was one of them. And it's probably a top 5 highlight for me after the show.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. I mean, I love that song. It's a beautiful song and
completely different appreciation for it now as well. I mean, I love the song anyway. I love American Life, the album, but it's not one that I would go to listen to on a walk or, you know, as it's got a skip factor to it when I'm listening to it in everyday life.
Interesting.
But it stood out to me, and it was one that I took away from the show. It was really nice.
Nice. So you were going to go back again? When are you seeing the show again?
So for sure, I'm going to Stockholm in 2 weeks' time, and 6th of December at the O2 again.
Oh yeah, she goes back to London. After like a bunch of time.
Yes, so she's here through till Thursday, then she goes over to Belgium, then to Denmark, and then Stockholm, and she'll come back here towards the end of the year.
After Paris,
yes.
Nice.
So I'm hoping to go again this week because I'd like to see it with clearer eyes, because I've obviously opening night, it's very overstimulating, overwhelming, and you're just trying to process something in your own time, but Madonna does not go at your own time. She goes at her own time, and it's bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see it again with clearer eyes and see if there was anything that was missing.
Yeah, well, it's always good to see the show a little later in the run because they adjust things or fix things or assuage things, and they're a little bit more, you know, they're used to it. It has a bit of a flow.
Yeah, I loved its imperfections though. It wasn't as Madonna's, you know, usually very militant with how her show runs from start to finish. It's song, 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 interlude, song, song. There's no breathing space, and that's because she's hooked up to projection and to the music, and so she has to keep running with the speed of the show. So this one was a lot more loose. It didn't feel as polished as the previous ones, which I enjoyed immensely. It felt a lot more, it had that, I think she took a lot of what she learned from doing theatres with Madam X and having a sense of spontaneity with it and speaking to the crowd a lot more. Like she was happy to be there.
Yeah. I think after her past couple months, I'm sure she's happy to be there as well.
It was just so poignant. And I when she was talking, she was saying just how severe what had happened to her was, where she lost 5 days. All I kept thinking was, thank God we have you. Thank God you're still here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I don't think we knew the severity of it when it was like, I think people were just like, oh, she's just not feeling good. But it was like, no, I think she almost lost. I think she almost left, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm a nurse. So when the post from Guy came out saying bacterial infection, You know, I knew
You
it
knew.
wasn't good. Like,
Yeah.
I know what can happen as a result of that. And knowing Madonna, you know, she'll try pushing through something and just shrug it off until it gets to a point where she's very unwell.
Yeah.
And by the
Well,
sounds of
I'm
it,
glad she looked healthy and vibrant and beautiful and
she did.
in really good shape.
She did. She was in fantastic shape. And she looked stunning. It was just nice to see her look happy on stage and enjoy this
She didn't
moment.
have her grills. I was like, oh, when was the last time we've seen her smile without her grills? I was like, this is amazing.
I know. I was like, oh, that's my Madonna.
Yes,
there she is.
I know. I was like, oh, thank God.
I know. But no.
It's the
And
little
her voice,
things.
her vocals, beautiful. She's remastered her control again of the voice, you know, bringing songs down a semitone or pitching a bit this in a different way. She's to suit her instrument at this stage. She sounded phenomenal.
Yeah, it was tough to sort of appreciate her vocals because, like I said last night, the live streams, whoever was filming the live streams, they were singing quite loudly, and so I was hearing them very off tune, but I could sort of hear Madonna in the background.
No, she was very good, very lovely vocals.
Nice. Well, Ben, thank you for taking your time out of your day. I know you're gonna get some rest the rest of the afternoon, but before I let you go, we're gonna do a little segment we like to call the lightning round. This is just meant to be quick, off the top of your head, wherever you're at in your Madonna journey right now. Don't think too hard. Favorite Madonna song?
Open Your Heart.
Favorite Madonna album?
Oh, True Blue.
Oh, interesting. Favorite Madonna music video?
Bedtime Story.
Favorite Madonna tour?
The Confessions Tour.
Favorite Madonna movie?
Pass.
Oh, you can't. Stop.
Truth or Dare.
Okay, there we go. See, I was going to say there has to be one. Favorite Madonna look, and this can be from a video, a tour, a photo shoot last night.
Oh. I've always been obsessed with Drown World Tour opening outfit with the tartan kimono, tartan kilt, and the short hair.
Which version? European version or US version? Because she changed it.
European.
Yeah.
So later European. No, sorry, the one that she wears in Detroit.
Okay.
Definitely that one.
Okay.
There's so many.
Yeah, it's tough to narrow it down. Ben, thanks for giving us your first impressions. Tell everyone where they can find you on social if they want to follow your future adventures at the Celebration Tour.
So you can follow me on I will log it on my Instagram. My Instagram is Ben Garner 90. That's Ben with two N's. So BENNGARNER 90. And you can find me there.
There we go. Well, thank you. And remember, everybody, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Threads. We're at MLVC Podcast. If you haven't already subscribed to this YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video. We're going to be going live again later today after the second show at the O2. So please feel free to check that out a little later. And if you'd like to donate to the show, we're on Venmo at MLVC Podcast. Help keep this show going. Ben, thanks again.
Thank you.
Until next time, everybody.